Addictions and bad habits are one of the hardest things to break. But in this video, I've got a method that if you stick to, will break your addiction. So let's go. Hi, my name is Sam Woodrow and welcome to Elite Body and Mind. On this channel, our mission is to improve your overall lifestyle. So, if you're new here, consider subscribing down below and hit the bell notification to become part of the EBM community. Okay, so your question is, what's the method that breaks addictions? Well, there's a couple of things you have to do, but it's backed up by scientific research and it's worked multiple times on highly different demographic groups. Here's the science behind the method so you know it works. Let's be clear though on the difference between a habit and an addiction. An addiction is when you get cravings to go do something. Cravings are false messages in the brain. And because it's all in your head, you don't need them. Quitting an addiction can be difficult to achieve, but the first week will be the hardest. But if you can get past that, you can quit within 21 days. However, a bad habit is something you do without even realizing. For example, biting your nails. You might not even realize that you're doing it. For this reason, it takes much longer for your body to adjust. In fact, it can take up to 90 days. So, the method. And it might not be what you're expecting. It's not to ignore or suppress your cravings or your feelings. It's actually to embrace them. The first thing you need to do is acknowledge that you have the problem. I guess you're watching this video, so congratulations. You're already 50% of the way there. But you need to understand how the brain works in regards to addiction. There's two main areas of the brain. Number one, your prefrontal cortex. Now this is responsible for identifying what you go after to survive. And the second, the limbic system, responds to pleasure or avoids damage. So what's happened is you have grown or developed your limbic system regarding the habit or addiction in a positive light. So say biting your nails is your bad habit. You have developed your limbic system to associate that with a necessity or reward, making your limbic system develop over time. Therefore, your prefrontal cortex does not have the power to stop you doing the habit. In simple terms, your limbic system is now stronger than your prefrontal cortex. That's kind of an issue if you want to break an addiction. But the limbic system isn't all bad. It determines what we need to survive and then subconsciously makes us go after it. For example, food, oxygen, shelter. You get the picture. Because you have taught your brain that this addiction is a necessity to survival, your limbic system makes you go after it, both subconsciously, as we've just chatted about, and consciously. That's why a bad habit, though, is subconscious, and you don't even realise that you're doing it. What you have to do to break this addiction or bad habit is to weaken or completely destroy the thought process of the limbic system associating the bad habit or addiction with a pleasurable reward. So you're thinking that medicine will work, right? Well, if you wasn't, you probably are now. But that only blocks the pathways. It doesn't destroy them. So you only last as long as you're taking the medicine, which, unless you're going to take it for the rest of your life, it's not very practical. Most, if not all, addiction problems are chemically based. So, that means the chemicals in your brain and how they order and how they interact between each other will associate with what you do. So, all you have to do is change your mindset and your thought process. So the method, step 1, here we go. Tell someone that you're going to quit. It could be your mum, it could be your dad, it could be your girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, sister, brother, auntie, uncle. Whoever you have to tell them that you're going to quit. And their job is to make sure that you are accountable for keeping your promise of quitting your addiction. Maybe tell like a couple of people, so that way you have multiple people keeping you accountable, which is a much stronger method than just one. Step number 2, eat a healthy diet. Ensure that you are putting in your mouth the correct vitamins and minerals every single day. If you want to be particular about it, make sure you are eating the correct amino acids for you, your height, your weight, and your exercise regime. Make sure the correct amino acids are in your body at all times throughout the day. This is the only reason I say this is because research has shown that it's one of the key elements to help you quit. Interestingly enough, it could be yeast that is your addiction problem. Yeast that contains diammonium triphosphate, held within bread, beer and smoking, well, cigarettes, may have some properties that make your brain relate positively, or your limbic system positively, towards the certain bad addiction or bad habit. But there is no scientific proof to suggest this. It's just an idea. So, don't eliminate yeast from your diet just yet. And obviously, other factors impact your addiction as well. For example, in cigarettes, there's nicotine. Step 3. Go and find help. Go to a professional who will be able to almost tailor a training plan or a work plan, an addiction plan for you. Now, I want to give you true knowledge of the situation, because if you don't have that, it might cost you a little bit of money, and I don't want to put you out of pocket. So, only 30% of people that go to a professional with an addiction do actually quit as a result of seeing the pro. But you might be one of the 30%. So it's worth it, right? Step number 4. If you require your hands and mouth to do your addiction, keep them busy throughout the day. Keep something around or something always in your hands, or maybe even eat an apple when you feel the cravings come on. Eat the apple and replace, say you're a smoker, replace that cigarette with an apple. Using your hands, using your mouth. Eventually, your limbic system will associate that apple with pleasure rather than the cigarette. Step 5. Every night before you go to bed, write a list of things you have to get done in the following day. When your cravings for your particular addiction start, then fulfill or go and do one of the tasks on your to-do list. Doing so should fill your time, which means there's no real time to perform the addiction. Step 6. Don't do the habit where you usually do it. For example, I'm going to give you smoking. If you smoke on the way to work every single morning in the car while you're driving to work, stop. Don't drive to work. Take a bus, take a train. It doesn't matter what you do or how you get there. Cycle there if you must. Do not do anything that will trigger a habit or a craving that allows you to get out of sync or allows your limbic system to tell you that this is where you usually perform your habit. Let's go. If you can't do that for 90 days or for 21 days, at least do it for the first week, because that will be the hardest time. Step number 7. If your addiction requires money, then get yourself some kind of money jar. Every time you go to buy your addiction, instead of going to buy say your smoker, the cigarettes, put some money, the equivalent amount of money, in your money jar. Put the money jar somewhere you can see it every single day. So maybe your living room, maybe your kitchen, maybe your bedroom. It doesn't matter really where it is, as long as you can see it every single day. Put the money in the money jar, and your limbic system will associate you putting money in the money jar instead of associating the pleasure with the bad habit. Also, you'll be amazed how much money that you can build up just by a couple of dollars or a couple of pounds every single day. Tip number 8. If you fail, try and try and try and try again. You can try 1,000,000 times and fail, but you only have to succeed once to quit your addiction forever. So keep going and keep trying. And always remember, 70% of people are in the same position. So keep going. You're not alone. If you enjoyed that video, please remember to subscribe down below and hit the bell notification so you don't miss anything. Also, go over to Twitter to become part of the EBM community. But until next time, as always, thanks for watching.